Señor Cooler.
Hello, I'm Brogan Brainstorm, and I'm recapping E3 2015. You could say it started with the Nintendo World Championships, but I'm saving that for later when they have their actual direct. Let's start off with Bethesda. It was their first E3 conference ever where they had a dedicated one for themselves. I would say that they justified it. They certainly had a lot to show. They started off with Doom. And they started off with actual gameplay. I'm impressed by that alone. Very violent trailer. Love it. And some people might say too violent, but I'm like, come on, it's Doom. What do you expect? And they showed a lot of gameplay footage, both single and multiplayer, including their mod system, their player-created content, and all that. It was a very impressive move to start off with so much gameplay. A lot of Bethesda stuff was gameplay-centric. You could argue that even if it is gameplay more than cinematic, a lot of this stuff is scripted and the graphics are enhanced. Again, like we've seen in Aliens Colonial Marines, like we've seen with Watch Dogs. I don't think that's the case here. And even if it is, that's not a problem, mainly because with a lot of games that happened at E3 this year, particularly Doom, particularly Fallout, and so on, they're stylized. The graphics aren't just good, the graphics are amazing, but they're also stylized. Style over quality is one of the reasons why a lot of games are still fondly remembered, like Wind Waker. Not the remake, not the HD one, the original Wind Waker is still fondly remembered because it went with its own graphical style. It looks good because it's made to look interesting and colorful and stylized. On the other hand, one thing I saw a lot of in Bethesda's presentation is that a lot of this stuff went on for way too long, especially Doom and Fallout 4. And when I say it went on way too long, I mean at a certain point, especially with Doom, you need to leave some for the imagination. You know what I mean? You can't just rush pretty much everything out in a time frame that's longer than the average Let's Play, and just expect there for to be anything left surprised at in the game. They're also announcing Bethesda.net, which from what I understand is it sounds like it's a lot like Ubisoft's Uplay or World of Warcraft's Battle.net. From what I know, from what I've heard, that sort of thing is never really looked forward to. It just interferes with a lot of the gameplay stuff. We also have a new IP, Battle Cry. It's basically kind of a grittier sword and bow and like typical weapons style Team Fortress rather than modern weapons. It's basically Team Fortress except more medieval. I don't think anyone was excited. I think there was a lot of yawns on that one. Same could also probably be said for Elder Scrolls Online. I was really looking forward to it, but when it came out, I heard awful things about it, so no, I don't care about ESO. I don't at all. But they also announced Elder Scrolls Legends, which is a card-based RPG game kind of in the style of Hearthstone. That one will be curious to watch. At this point, it's not really clear how it will distinguish itself from Hearthstone. You could argue that we already have Hearthstone and that's perfectly good and it's working out for people and we don't need a new one. You could also argue that if Elder Scrolls Legends, that's what it's called, if that card game, if that's better than Hearthstone, then Hearthstone might be a gateway to a better thing. But we won't know for a while. We also got footage of Dishonored 2 that was unfortunately leaked. They revealed that you get to play as a female protagonist. She was in the original game. I haven't played Dishonored yet, but it looked cool. I need to play it, though. I have it. I have it on 2 different systems, I think. Yeah, I have it on Xbox 360, and then I got it for free with PlayStation Plus. And I'm like, so yeah, Dishonored. I remember that being announced. I would like to play it. Oh, and then they announced Dishonored, the Definitive Edition, that includes enhanced graphics for next-gen systems and all DLC. I think that it's not different from the PC version. I'm not sure, but, like, it may just run better. I don't think they announced it for the PC. That's really cool, how they're just going, here's Dishonored 2. Fans of Dishonored 1. What, you haven't played Dishonored 1? Well, we're releasing that too, the Definitive Edition. The blow your socks off stuff, though, was all the Fallout stuff. It started off kind of weak, to be honest, with a lot of concept art, and I'm like, come on, really, you know what you want to show us, and they do, and the concept art isn't around for long, and they just immediately go right into the gameplay, right into some cutscenes, but mainly gameplay, all in-engine and all that. And you play as a character and their spouse. Again, you can pick whether you're the wife or the husband. And you start before the war, and you experience the whole experience of getting into a vault before the bombs fall. As the bombs fall, actually. And then you wake up 200 years later in the Fallout times we all know and love. The character creator is better, and that's a relief. And the faces look better; they don't look so stiff. And whenever there's dialogue with like an NPC, the dialogue's more cinematic instead of the typical stiff animation that was in Oblivion and Fallout 3 in New Vegas. And it's also different from the still stiff but better Skyrim version. No, it's actually cinematic. It's kind of... Some people compared it to the Mass Effect wheel. They have that option, but it's a little different than that. It's not a wheel, it's just a bunch of options. But it looks good. The other thing that really impressed me is that they added names to the voice dialogue. They added an entire database of names, of common names for people who might be playing. And then the people in the cutscenes would actually be able to say that. That's amazing. So many more games need to do that. Like, that's so immersive. And unfortunately, if I were a betting man, I'd say they do not have my name in there. Drogon. It doesn't happen often. If they are able to say that, blown away. You have your own dog companion. And please, please make companions immortal. That's the most frustrating crap ever. Because when a companion dies in Fallout, they die, they're squishy, they die real quick. And you just reload from the last save where you had them. It's not like it is in XCOM or Fire Emblem where if they die it's permanent and then you don't go back to that. No. If they die, if your companions die, you're reloading. And so they need to really fix that whole system. But they have fixed the commands that you can give them. So that's cool. There's also a much better designed Pip-Boy. It also includes game cartridges, Animal Crossing GameCube style. Like you pop in a game cartridge, like a classic, like Atari style game cartridge, and then you get to play classic Fallout-ish remakes of these classic games on your Pip-Boy. That's amazing. There's also settlements where you like craft your own community. You craft the houses, the things in them, you craft the turret systems and the defense systems, and you defend against incoming raiders or mutants or super mutants or whatever. And that looks like it's a lot of fun. I don't know again, details are still kind of new, but that would be a really fun side quest and distraction. Item crafting is also way better, has more options, and uses a variety of options for the items. Like if there's four certain parts you need for it, and there's different options for those four parts. Like you could do a pressure cooker or a piece of duct tape. And you don't have to have all this useless crap in the wasteland where you don't know what it is or where. You don't have a bunch of useless items all around that you don't know what they're used to craft for, and you don't know how that works or all that. It's very streamlined, and it makes all the items have a point, and it makes you able to improvise and gather stuff from your immediate surroundings to help yourself. I'm hoping that they make combat in general and item management a lot better. I think they are. It looks like they're doing everything right. Also, they have the Brotherhood of Steel power armor, and it's basically like your own Iron Man suit. You put it in your garage, you modify the certain parts, and it looks, and it also helps you fight off death claws, which I always hated because they were such cheap kills. There's challenge, and then there's just cheap and impossible. But the new death claws are cool too. But you have Iron Man power armor kind of thing going on here. Oh, I can't wait for this game. And they also announced that there would be a special collector's edition. And they made a Pip-Boy. They made an actual Pip-Boy for the collector's edition. Todd Howard just came out and he was like, you know, there's a lot of stupid gimmicks going around, but this is the best looking gimmick I've ever seen. Howard had a lot of really good and frank and blunt humor where he would just say what everyone's thinking, and he would just speak his mind, and it was really cool. It seemed a lot more human than most presentations that E3 is known for. And in addition to all of that, that very night, they released Fallout Shelter, which is an overseer simulator where you're the overseer of a vault. It's free to play, it's free, and it's also free of a lot of the horrible BS that usually plagues mobile games. You don't have a lot of microtransactions or paywalls or wait times. They do let you buy extra lunchboxes, which are just a random assortment of items, but they wanted to make the kind of mobile game where they would be proud of, and they wanted to cut out the BS, so to speak. It looks very This War of Mine-ish. I know there's a lot of games that are done in that style, but This War of Mine's the one that's fresh in my memory and the one I've been exposed to. And so it's free, it's released on Apple that very night, it'll be on Android systems soon. I really wish it was on. It really would have been way better if they had for both Apple and Android for the night, but it must have been some exclusivity deal or whatever. But it will be on Android devices soon. And to top it all, they announced that Fallout 4 is coming November 10th. There's no wait. It's 5 months. You don't sit around forever and you wait, and like there's delays and stuff. They said, no, we'll show off Fallout 4 when it's about 80% done. That's what it looks like from my perspective. It looks 75 or 80% done, as far as I see it. And that's so cool that it's coming out. It's coming at you fast. Fallout 4. It's happening this year, this holiday. Early this holiday, November 10th. Overall, Bethesda had a really strong performance. Bethesda was the best. Sony definitely had the bigger announcements to make. They had the bigger bombs to drop, so to speak. That's not a Fallout pun, I swear. Sony may succeed on that front, but Bethesda was the one who knew how to present it. They knew how to strut their stuff and just make what they had shine. And it was mind-blowing. What a great way to start E3. Also, that very night I was wrestling with the decision of whether or not to pre-order the Pip-Boy Special Edition. And I'm very glad I did. Yeah, I pre-ordered it. It's a lot of money, but the way I see it, I don't buy a lot of release games. I don't buy a lot of games at release. I don't buy a lot of collector's editions. Actually, in general, I don't buy a lot of games. Not at full price, certainly not. But Fallout's always been pretty special to me. And I missed the bus on the Majora's Mask pre-order special edition. I missed that Majora's Mask action figure. But I didn't want to miss out on this one. And so yeah, I pre-ordered it, and the very next morning the scalpers had picked up the rest. And so throughout all of today, there's been a lot of downtime and uptime, down and up, of the pre-orders going, then coming back, and then being back in stock, and then going out again. And so I'm glad that I have that option. And I can cancel, it's through Amazon, so I can cancel at any time until a release date, if anything ill should befall me and I still need that money. I'm really glad that I got to pick it up. For the first time in a very long time, I'm glad I pre-ordered. And not every game deserves that. Almost no games deserve that. You have to be a really dedicated fan, or it has to be a collector's edition, or it has to be just something really special to your heart, or that will go out of stock instantly, like Xenoblade Chronicles. But every now and then you get a pre-order that's worth it. And from what it looks like, Fallout 4 is worth it.